Good evening, folks. This is Deb Delapiana. And tonight, we're going to talk about an event of magnanimous proportions. We're talking about the Conservative Political Action Caucus. It is just around the corner now. It's March 1st through 4th. It's going to be held in Washington, D.C. Now, I'm pretty sure all of you have heard about this. It's a great, I like to call it a hate fest. It's basically a place where white people gather. And I'm not saying they're all white. There are definitely some people of color who are on the conservative spectrum who probably just, are either entitled people of color or self-loathers, or I don't know any reason why they would commiserate with these people, but I'm beyond question in any of that. But this is a hate fest because this is basically a group of people who are high-powered conservatives who really want to make this a white Christian nationalist nation. That is their goal, no matter what they're telling you. That is their goal. So let's talk a little bit about who heads up CPAC. That would be Matt Schlapp. Now, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news, but Matt Schlapp has been accused by a campaign worker on the Herschel Walkers staff. He's been accused of groping. Matt Schlapp has been accused of groping this guy's genitals. So keep in mind also that CPAC is the Christian values group, okay? And Matt Schlapp is now the subject of a lawsuit in the order of $10 million from this gentleman who actually said in the article when it was published that Schlapp was totally beside himself when this gentleman didn't follow him into his hotel room. Now, Mike Pence has declined to attend this year, as has Ron DeSantis. Now, I don't know the reason for that, Ron DeSantis. I actually think Ron DeSantis didn't attend because he didn't want to see Donald Trump there, because Donald Trump is going to be there. And I think Mike Pence is probably not in attendance because we all know his, religious proclivities, and he didn't want to be associated with any of that shit. But nevertheless, on any given day, you can go on social media and see these people disparage LGBT people, transgender people at the drop of a hat. That doesn't stop them from attending this conference, a conference whose CEO is being accused of grabbing another man's genitals in a cab, by the way. Here's who's attending. No shortage of GOP House members here. We have Scott Perry, Republican from Pennsylvania, Jim Jordan, Ohio, Andy Ogles, Tennessee, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Georgia, Lauren Boebert, who's hosting the Women's Breakfast. She's from Colorado. Elise Stefanik from New York. Jason Smith, Missouri. Dan Bishop, North Carolina. And of course, Matt Gaetz, another fine, upstanding young trafficker of young girls. We also have, people like Kash Patel, Kimberly Guilfoyle, Nikki Haley, who has just thrown her hat in the ring for the presidency, Mike Lindell, Donald Trump Jr., Carrie Lake, all of the people you would expect to see here. And they will wax poetic about how America really should be, what it was really intended to be. It was intended to be for white people and straight people and people who only live by the gender that they were assigned at birth. We know what this is going to be about. And, if you want to go to this ticket's left especially in the platinum ticket range, that's $15,000. And then in the platinum plus range of $30,000. There are a few, $5,000 and $7,000 tickets left, but not many of those. But there's plenty of these high price tickets. You can go anytime you want and indulge yourself in this hate fest. And, then we have two other of the most aberrant people I have ever come across on social media. And I have to tell you that I used to think Candace Owen, hand down, was the most reprehensible shitbag that I had ever seen on social media. A woman who went from the left all the way to the far right, and largely did it because she's a grifter. Because if you want to make money off your bullshit, the right wing is the place to do that. There's no end to the amount of money the people on the right will spend to have you either lie to them or talk trash to them about other human beings. But to this year, they have included even someone who is worse. Chaya Raichik, who runs the Libs of TikTok, where she spends all of her time on TikTok spewing hate speech against LGBTQ people, calling them the most evil people on the planet, the people with an agenda. You know what? I'm an LGBT person. The only agenda we have is just to let us alone and let us live our lives the way we want. These are the people who have an agenda. Their agenda is to essentially, wipe us off the planet, especially transgender people. Their goal is to just pretend that we don't exist and take all of our rights away so that we don't basically have an existence. They are the ones with the agenda here. I mention this because maybe 15, 20 years ago, you could laugh at these people and call them fringe. That is no more in the Republican Party. These are the people who are the face of the Republican Party. Failure to vote in 2024 will ensure a fascist, right-wing, Christian nationalist nation. I promise you that. We are on the doorstep. Don't think because we did well in the midterms that we are safe. We are not safe. Actually, personally, from my perspective, given everything that we've seen that's gone on in this country since Donald Trump took office, we should have owned the House and the Senate by a decent majority. And the reason we don't is because only 52% of registered voters voted in the midterms. That is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. There is never an election in this country now, looking at what we're looking at, that isn't important. The midterms are now as important as the presidential elections. All of these Republican House members are up for re-election again in 2024. We need to do a whole hell of a lot better, particularly if you intend to take any of your rights back, ladies. There's only one path to that right now. And there's only one path to removing these people. There is no way that the DOJ can just go in and unilaterally remove people from office. It would involve investigating every single one of them so that they could be removed from office. We are the faster path to getting rid of these people. We are the faster path to making CPAC go back in the closet where they belong. I say this in all honesty because I am terrified at what I am looking at in this country, okay? Not for me. I'm 69 years old. I'm going to fight until the end here, but I have 2 kids, and I know you have kids, and I know I have relatives who have kids. And I am terrified that I will leave this country to them. And you know what? I think it's incumbent on all of us to do everything we can to neuter this lot. These are not good people, folks. These are fascists. Keep in mind that last year's keynote speaker was Jair Bolsonaro, who was the dictator of Brazil before he got trounced this year in the election. He's now in Florida hanging out with Ron DeSantis. This is a beginning of a discussion we're going to have between now and 2024. We will have more. In the meantime, there'll be other topics this week. Ron DeSantis will be one. Guns in America will be the other. I'll talk to you all later.